Aman, tell us about yourself. Give us a brief introduction of your background, your academics, and which attempt are you doing, and how are you feeling now?
Yes, sir. So my name is Aman Kumar, and sir, for my academics, I have done my engineering from Delhi College of Engineering (DTU) in civil branch. So I have passed out in 2019. After that, sir, I had given GATE, and through GATE, I was doing my masters from IIT Roorkee in earthquake engineering. And when I finished my masters, then I appeared for the exam for Coal India Limited. And right now, sir, I'm working in Coal India Limited in civil engineering department. And sir, for RBI, this was my third attempt. And before this, I have given two attempts. In first attempt, I was not able to clear the phase one, and second attempt, I was not able to clear the phase two. So that was my third attempt.
What is the difference in this attempt? What did you do differently?
Differently, sir, I would not say that I have completely like re-strategized. What I did was I learned from like my previous attempts. I knew that where was I lacking, because when I saw my result of phase two, then I knew that in which area I should work. So I picked up that area first of all, and then I worked in that department. I saw that my ESI performance was not very good in my second attempt, so I worked on ESI particularly. Like my finance rate was my good, finance was good, and management was also like fine. But I was lacking in ESI, so that is why I chose to work on ESI, as well as I continued focusing on finance and management as well.
What did you do for Quant in phase one?
Quant, yeah. For Sir Quant, what I did, I referred to all the questions that was asked previously. Like there was a total uh, archive of all the questions, like similar questions which were asked. So I picked up on that questions, and sir, I made sure that I follow a pattern, because I knew that I will not be able to attempt all the problems of Quant. So I need to handpick them, that which problem do I want to solve, and I need to analyze them before solving that. Would I be able to solve that? So that was my strategy, that I need to at least cross the cutoff. And sir, I worked for that only in Quant.
What did you do for reasoning?
And so reasoning, what I did, I first of all noted all the chapters, that what are the chapters, and then I noticed, as everyone knows, ki 30 marks was for puzzles. So I knew that if I did not focus too much on puzzles, because I knew that in the exam hall I will not be able to complete all the puzzles. So I need to first of all gauge and see that how many of the puzzles are doable in the specified time. Like I had given my cutoff, that if a problem is solvable in 5 to 6 minutes, or it takes like 7 minutes, then I will attempt. Otherwise, I will skip. So that is why, sir, I worked on puzzles, but not too much. And like I was sure that there are some chapters which are easily doable, like this quadratic equations and number series. So I worked on that, and I made sure ki I am able to solve at least 70 to 80% of the questions that I see. So that was my strategy all in all. I made sure that I at least do. I was aiming for 30, like I should get at least 25 to 30 marks. So I was aiming for that only, sir, in my reasoning. That was my strategy for reasoning.
What was your strategy for English and GK?
Sir, for English, to be honest, I knew that English should not be a problem, because in my previous attempts also English was never an issue. So I just tried to solve mock test for English. And sir, for GA, I had done my homework, because I knew that GA is the game changer. If I want to clear the cutoff, then I need to make sure that I not only pass the cutoff, I score good. So for that, sir, what I did, I chose like 2 3 sources, and I made sure that I do GK on a daily basis. I was like most of the people, and some of the people, what they do it weekly, but I made sure that I do it on a daily basis. And when I did my daily GK, then I used to revise for the previous day. Uh, and for that, sir, I used a couple of the flashcards, and I revised them through flashcard, because I knew that for GA only one word substitution or any of that sort of questions are helpful, as from the previous year questions.
Hmm.
And for that, sir, I also clubbed 2 3 sources. I did not rely on only one source, because in the previous attempts I have seen that the pattern of GK is changing now. They are they are shifting to a statement based questions. So that is why, sir, to read whenever I used to read a news, I made sure that I knew at least 2 3 points about it, so that if I know the question, I should be able to clear of the statement based questions. So that was my strategy, that just not to hover around the questions, just to go into a bit depth of the news that is being asked. So that was my strategy for GSM.
That's easy. This year, the GK was also more difficult than the previous years. We also noticed that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It was because, sir, many of the questions were statement based this time. Like 3 or 4 statements will be there, and then you have to figure out the combination of statements.
Hmm. Hmm. Okay. We'll come to phase 2 now. How did you prepare
Yes.
for financial management?
Finance and management. Yeah, sir, finance and management, for that, sir, I knew that my finance, because I have given my earlier attempt also, so I knew that my finance is almost covered. I need to just revise it. Like I have to make sure that I give enough mocks so that I'm aware of each and every topic. And sir, what I did was I first of all wrote down all the chapters, and then I bifurcated them, that whether this chapter is important only for objective point of view or descriptive point of view. Because, sir, I always thought that phase 2 is not 3 subjects, it is 5 subjects. Like finance and management objective, finance and management subjective, ESI objective, ESI subjective, and English. So that was my strategy. I need to make sure, I always made sure that I am through about the chapter. I knew that this chapter was only for objective point of view, and this is for subjective point of view. So, sir, that was my strategy. Whenever I saw any chapter that is important for both, so I always used to ask myself that if I was an examiner, I would have, what questions for subjective I would have put down in the exam. So that was my strategy. I used to make like notes of all the questions that are probable questions, and I also use the help of previous year papers to analyze that what is the pattern that they are following. So that was my strategy for finance and management.
What were your sources for that?
For, sir, finance and management, sir, for that, sir, I took a course of EduTap, and I noted all their mind maps. So they have this specific thing called mind maps, in which they have just made summary of all the chapters. Because I had already made the note in my notebook. I already had like the lengthy part was covered in my notebook. But I need to make sure that I realized, sir, in my last attempt, that whenever there were 5 or 6 days left, na, I was kind of like panicked because I had too much to revise. So for that, I needed something crisp. And so for that, I referred for the mind maps of EduTap. My initial strategy was to go with my notebook, my handwritten notes, and when there is only 7 or 6 days left, then I refer to the mind. So that I prepared for this, and a lot of mocks. I did a lot of mocks for that.
How did you prepare answer writing? How did you do practice for that? How did you start? How did you understand how to write the answers?
So that I understood when I was in my second attempt. Because when I was in my second attempt, I noticed something, that I had too much in my mind, but I was not able to put down in my words. So I realized that I was first of all short of words. Like I was not able to write. My typing speed was average, but I wanted it to be more, so that I have that leverage in my hand, that if I wrote something which I can improve, so I can just delete that and I can make sure that I write it in a better way. So for that, sir, I worked on my typing speed first of all, and sir, when I cleared the phase 1, then I focused majorly on answer writing. I used to write answers on my word pad, on my notepad, so that I do not know that if the spelling is right or not. Because, sir, there were many grammatical mistakes I observed when I copy and pasted that in Word. I examined that there were many grammatical mistakes. So I used to write in my notepad and then shift all the data, copy and paste to the Word, so that I get all the hindsight, that what is the right way to write. And I also, sir, downloaded Grammarly, so that I knew that how to put it in a better words. So that was my strategy for descriptive part.
Okay. So how did you prepare for ESI?
Yes, sir. Sir, for ESI, sir, I used a different strategy because I knew that I messed up in my previous attempt. So for that, sir, what I did, I focused on reports and schemes. For that, sir, I made a EduTap. I also referred for EduTap for that. But sir, in EduTap, the scheme document is very lengthy. It is sometimes it is more than 100 pages for just 1 month. So that was I realized that I don't want to repeat the same mistake which I did last year, because it is very difficult to revise in the last days. So what I did, sir, this time I made a notebook, and what I used to do, I used to make sure that I write all the important points of a scheme in 3 to 4 lines. Just in 3 to 4 lines, I have to finish it. So I have all the important schemes of a month in 4 or 5 pages. For that, sir, I practiced it for schemes as well as for reports. So I made two separations in my notebook. One was for reports and one was for schemes. So I used to write that, and then I used to revise it on a timely basis. I try to keep it like periodic in nature, my revision. And for that, sir, I again referred for the quizzes that they provide. So that was my strategy for ESI.
That is good. That is good. How about English? Did you prepare for English in phase two?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Because in my second attempt also, uh, I was falling short. For the last question of 600 word, I managed to write only 350 words. So I knew that I have to make sure that I at least complete the paper. And for that, sir, uh, I referred to the again EduTab material that I had for the sample question. And sir, there was my friend. I used to write all my précis and all my comprehensions, and I used to send it to him to analyze, to get a second opinion for that. I did preparations like I prepared a couple of précis and reading comprehensions for that, and I also wrote sir essays. And sir, for English, I would like to tell you one thing also. I made a list of all the probable topics, of all the hot topics for essays, because sir, I knew that there is a fat chance that some of the questions might come from that only. So I made a list, and sir, what I did in that list, I mentioned all the data. Like I knew that if there is some question or any essay, I have to make sure that I write the data, because sir, data gives weight to your essays. So, for example, sir, let's say that there is a question on women entrepreneurship last year. So I made a headline, and I used to write all the data, like that what is the percentage of women in startups, how many startups are started by women. So I knew the numerical figures for that. So I made a separate A4 sheet notebook for that. And in that, sir, I wrote three things, like how to introduce for an essay, and the stats and the data, and lastly the conclusion, that if I have any quotation or if I have any good ending which can be used for multiple essays. So I made that also for English.
That's a good idea. Okay. Now tell us about interview. How did you prepare?
Sir, for interview, first of all, sir, I was preparing first for the first many days. I was completely clueless that where should I start. So I used to refer to the transcripts, and then, sir, I used to see that how many of the institutes were providing mock interviews. Then I came across you. Then I joined your channel, and I used to first of all write about myself, because I knew that for an interview I have to be clear about myself. I divided my interview into two parts. That first is me, that I should know about me, and second is I should know about the academics and the RBI, the organization for which I was preparing. So I was clear about my part. But for that, sir, I needed to have a supervision. So that's why, sir, I enrolled in 2 3 interview programs, and one of them was yours. uh, and sir, I prepared for that by giving the mocks, and as well as, sir, improving in on my way along. So that was my strategy for interview, sir. All the guidance that you provided me, and all the mock interviews, that was it.
So if you have to give three tips to people who are preparing for interview now, what would be the three topmost things that you would tell them?
Uh, so for interview, sir, I would say, first of all, you have to be clear about yourself. It is okay if you don't know about academics. It is okay if you don't know anything about RBI, but it is not okay if you don't know about yourself. So you have to be very clear about yourself, that why did you choose this, and why, what was the decision that made you took your engineering or whatever graduation that you have done. So you have to be clear about yourself. And you have to be clear about being an engineering student. I knew that I had made some projects, so I made sure that I know my projects in and out, because they might ask you anything from your projects. So I, sir, prepared around 100 questions about myself, regarding from my family background to me, to my academics, to my hobbies. Each and everything was covered in that. And I also referred for the uh, transcripts. So my three tips would be: first of all, go through the transcript so you have the basic idea that what is the mindset of the examiner. And second is, you have to be thorough about yourself. And third would be, sir, to go and read the RBI website, because that is something which will give you a lot of insights. I refer to RBI website, like their preamble, their annual publications, half yearly publications, the speeches of the governors. So I refer to all of these things. So that would be my three tips for interviews.
So throughout your preparation, how did you stay updated with current affairs?
When I was preparing, sir, for phase one and phase two, right?
Hmm.
Yes, sir. So for that, sir, there was this magazine, and there was this channel on Telegram who used to post daily updates about the happenings. So whenever I made sure that I block at least one half or 1 hour for that only. In that amount of time, I used to see all the news that was happened day before, so that I have the basic idea, and then I used to copy the important highlights from that and paste it into my flashcards, so that I have all the major points in my flashcards. So I continue to build up that flashcard. And sir, when the phase one was very near, I had around 4,000 flashcards. So for that, sir, I revised only those flashcards. Flashcards were very helpful, sir, for in that matter, for phase one GA.
That's a good idea. So you are also, Aman, you are a working candidate. So how did you manage preparation along with your job?
Yes, sir. Sir, initially I used to struggle because this was my first job, and I had to give time. But then I realized that each and every one of us only have 24 hours. We have to be vigilant enough to know that where can we find time. So that is why, sir, I made sure that I revise or I study daily. Even if I study for 5 minutes, that does not matter, because that will create a continuity, which is very important. So for that, sir, I used to stay late at night, because I find it kind of difficult to wake up early in the morning. So that is why I said, whenever I got from office, then I made sure that after I freshen up, I give at least 2 to 3 hours religiously only for studies, and that I continued for months. So that is why I was able to like recollect all the things that has happened throughout. Because when we start at the very end, then it is very difficult, sir, to get all the GK, because then it will be a lot of file that you have to clear. So that is why, sir, I started kind of early, because I knew that I will not be having that much time for a person who is not working. So I knew that I have to start early. So I started early, and I gave time. And sir, in my office hours also, like when there is some time, so what I used to do, I have downloaded, sir, that flashcard. I transferred all my flashcard to my phone, and whenever, sir, I have like 15 to 20 minutes, or while I was walking, I used to just open my phone and then go through all the flashcards. It was like 20 to 40 flashcards for a day. So that would recollect all the things that I have studied yesterday, and that would make me feel that I have at least achieved something while I was working. So that was my strategy.
Which app did you use for flashcards?
So there was a app called Anki, Anki. So I use that app for flashcards. And sir, the good thing about this app is it syncs your data. Like you can very easily transfer your data to your phone. So that is why, sir, that was very helpful in that.
A lot of my friends also have used Anki. Okay. Uh, what is your message for fellow candidates?
Sir, my message would be that first of all, you have to be very clear that you want this job only. Because when I was working, I was very clear that I have to get into it. So first of all, you have to be in that mindset that this is the goal that you are aiming for, and you will settle for no less. And you have to be dedicated. You have to make sure that you give time for it. Because in the past two or three attempts, the pattern has slightly shifted, especially for the phase one. It has shifted. So now it is now it is important that you maintain that continuity. So my message would be that you have to be consistent, sir. Consistency is the key, and revision is something, sir, which you have to do, because GK without revision is will not fetch you marks. So you have to be like updated, and you have to be totally prepared. You have to revise it on a daily basis. So revision is the key and consistency is the key, will be my message to my fellow candidates.
ठीक है। अच्छा, give a review of us and tell us what more can we do to help the candidates of RBI.
Definitely, sir. Definitely. First of all, sir, I would like to extend my gratitude that I am very thankful that I met you guys, because in my interview you guys have helped me a lot. I cannot stress it enough, but you have helped me a lot. When I was preparing, I did not knew about this platform, so I only enrolled for the known sites and the coaching classes. But when I met you, then I joined your channel. Then I knew that there are some people who are teaching on Telegram. Then I shifted to WhatsApp. Then I remember, sir, you gave me a couple of questions regarding my portfolio. And sir, I still remember that the moment you gave me, I immediately took a printout, and what I did, sir, I flushed in A4 sheets between them. So I have to be I have to like write all the answers. What can be the answer for that? What can be the answer of that? That was around, sir, 150 questions that you gave us, and I have done like, sir, 130 I have written. I still have that. So that was very helpful, because that made me very clear about myself, that why I was doing this, what was my background. So that helped me a lot. And when I when I came for your mock interview, then I realized that there are many things that I need to work, because you gave me a like very honest opinion about myself.
We
Then
gave
I
you a
realized,
bad review, na? We gave you a very bad review the first time.
Not a bad,
yes, yes,
but
You
we were
said
like, yes, you can
you
improve
have
that.
to
We
improve.
have to tell candidates know that there is scope for improvement. If we cannot be all goody about it.
sir, your review was not bad. It was me, sir, who was bad. You showed
No,
us
it
that
wasn't
how,
bad. There was, the thing is that there was scope for improvement. So that
definitely.
had to be done.
Yes. Yes, ma'am. So then you told me about all the things that I need to work upon. Then I wrote all these things, and you were kind enough to give me a chance for another interview. So I made sure that I work on all the points that you have given me, and I appeared for the second interview, the second mock interview. And then after your feedback, I felt like, yes, I have worked in the right direction, and I have also given like acknowledgement of yours was very helpful. So then I realized, okay, I am somewhat ready for the interview. So you guys have been truly helpful for me, and I cannot stress it enough. So
I think we're done. Thank you, Aman, so much for this interview.
yeah, sir. Thank you so much, sir.